Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Aaron with U-Haul. Putting a trailer hitch on your BMW 5 Series can take you to some really cool places, whether it be through bike riding, camping, or even towing a small U-Haul trailer just about anywhere in North America. Now this install may be a little difficult, but we'll guide you through it. Let's go ahead and get started. You'll need the tool seen here to complete this installation. So our hitch is going to be attached behind our vehicle's bumper beam. To get access to that, we're going to need to remove our bumper fascia. So to start, we're going to remove this underbody panel. There's 8 screws holding it in, and we're going to be using an 8mm socket to remove those. Now on this underbody panel behind the passenger side rear tire, there's 3 screws holding in this panel. We're going to remove those also using an 8mm socket. Now we're going to remove 5 screws holding in the wheel well liner. There's 2 at the bottom, right in the inside, and there's 3 going up the side. And we're also going to be using an 8mm socket to remove those. Now that we have all those screws out of our wheel well liner, we're going to go ahead and pull back on that liner. Now as we get to the top, it's going to expose one more bolt that's going up into the fascia. Now it's kind of up there, so we'll be using an 8mm socket and an extension to be able to reach it. And we're going to go ahead and remove that. And now we're going to repeat that exact same process on the driver's side. Now on the passenger side exhaust, we're going to be disconnecting this sensor right here. It has a really small tab on it that you'll need to press down on, so it does help to just grab a flathead screwdriver. You'll just push down on that tab and then it'll let you disconnect it. Now that we have this disconnected, we're going to remove this tab from our heat shield. We're just going to use a trim panel removal tool to pry that off. Now there's 2 more screws at the top of our bumper fascia, right next to both of our tail lights that we'll need to remove. So we'll go ahead and pop the trunk, and we're going to need to remove both the tail light covers right here. We're just going to take a trim panel removal tool, and we'll pry up from the bottom right here. And then we can just pull up on the rest carefully, and then we'll repeat on the driver's side. So with our tail light cover gone, that exposes our screw that we'll need to remove. We're going to use a T15 torque screw bit to remove that. And then we'll repeat on the driver's side. Now we're going to remove the nuts off of both of the tail lights to give us a little bit of wiggle room to get our bumper fascia off. And we'll repeat on the driver's side. Now we're going to remove our bumper fascia. As we remove it, there's a couple electrical sensors that we'll be removing, so we're going to go nice and slow. Now it does help to have an extra set of hands to remove the bumper, but it is possible to do it with one person, so we'll go ahead and show you how that's done. We're going to start on the end of the passenger side. We're just going to pull back on the tabs right here, and we're just going to slowly make our way around. Now one thing that we noticed is that it gets really tight right here on the tabs underneath the tail light. So there's a couple tabs on there, and this is where removing those nuts really came in handy. Where as you pull down, you can see some of those tabs. So we're going to take our trim panel removal tool, and you don't want to use a screwdriver or anything because that could scratch it up, but since this is plastic, it won't do too much. But we're just going to pull down, and then that'll let you get to the first tab. And you'll just repeat that on the 3 tabs. There's 1 here, 1 in the middle, and 1 towards the end. All right, so now that we have those off, we're gonna go ahead and repeat on the driver's side just to get the ends loose first. So now that we have our 2 ends loose, we're gonna pull back on the center. Now there's gonna be a couple push pins, so we're gonna pull back on here. And we have 4 push pins right here that are holding this panel in. So we're gonna remove those real quick. So now we're going to remove this electrical connector on the passenger side. We're going to push down the tabs on the top, and then we'll just go ahead and release that. And then there's one more wire right here you can see. First we're going to unclip this, and then we're going to pull this off, and then we're going to disconnect this one by pushing down on this small tab. And there we go. All right, now that we have all those disconnected, we're just going to set this aside for later. Now we're going to remove our bumper beam. It's held on by 2 nuts on each side, and we're going to remove those using an 18mm socket. And now we'll go ahead and remove our bumper beam. All right, now we're going to take our hitch and we're going to line it up over those posts. Now we're going to take our bumper beam and we're going to put it on top. And now we're going to take our nuts and we're going to secure it into place. Now we're going to tighten and torque all of our nuts according to the manufacturer's specification. We'll be using an 18mm socket with a 5-inch extension to go ahead and do that. Now that we have our hitch into place, we're going to reinstall our bumper fascia, making sure that we plug in all of our electrical harnesses and putting in all of our pins in the right places. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to need to trim our underbody panel to get it to fit around our hitch now that it's there. Now our instruction calls for just cutting along the dotted lines, so we're going to follow the dotted lines till we get to the 6th hole from the driver's side, and we're going to cut straight down from the middle of that hole to give us enough room for our hitch receiver. And we're going to use some tin snips. Now that we've made that cut and we know that it fits, we're going to use our screws to reattach this underbody panel. Now with our hitch installed, we went ahead and pulled our vehicle down onto level ground to show you some important measurements for your hitch accessories. This is an 1.25 inch receiver. From the pinhole to the edge of the bumper is 3 inches, and from the ground to the top of the inside of the receiver is 12.5 inches. This will help you determine the length, rise, and drop for your hitch accessories. So that wraps up our video and our install. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this product, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with a U-Haul Hitch professional, you can visit your closest U-Haul Hitch center, or you can visit us online at uhaulhitches.com. Thank you.